Sailing ships racing across the blue Caribbean, pirates reveling in freedom with treasure maps in hand. Don't you yearn for such a romantic image? However, that might only be one facet of the pirates we imagine. Their true lives were far more brutal and complex. This time, we'll shine a light on the golden age of piracy, exploring why these individuals turned to piracy and what kind of society they built aboard their ships. Outlaws seeking freedom, or criminals born of despair. The image of pirates tends to be highly polarized. They roamed the Caribbean, primarily from the late 17th to the early 18th century, during what is known as the Golden Age of Piracy. This era marked the peak of European colonial rule and the age of exploration. While wealth was concentrated, countless people lived in poverty. Life for sailors at the time was unimaginably harsh. Low wages, abysmal food, and the captain's arbitrary violence were commonplace occurrences. Diseases were rampant, and malnutrition or accidental deaths were not uncommon. Even if they took to the seas to survive, they often faced a hellish existence. To escape such conditions, many sailors chose a life of piracy. For them, it was often the last resort. Notably, former soldiers left unemployed after wars, and individuals who had escaped from slave ships also swelled the ranks of pirates. Abandoned by the state and marginalized by society, these individuals sought to carve out a living for themselves, contributing to the rise in piracy. They were rebels against a society that exploited them, and in a way, revolutionaries who sought to build a more just society with their own hands. It might seem surprising, but within pirate ships, a social structure existed that was often more democratic than any state at the time. Pirate captains were often elected by their crew's vote. They rarely held absolute power. Important decisions were not left to the captain's sole discretion. Instead, the opinions of all crew members were respected, and matters were decided through discussion and voting. Furthermore, pirates adhered to a strict set of rules known as the Pirate Code. While these codes varied from ship to ship, their underlying principles were consistent. The code meticulously detailed fair methods for distributing plunder, compensation for the injured, and penalties for disciplinary breaches. Particularly noteworthy was the compensation offered to injured crew members. If a pirate lost their sight or a limb in battle, financial compensation was guaranteed. This was a remarkably generous system, unthinkable for ordinary sailors of the era. Pirates deeply valued camaraderie and mutual aid. The role of quartermaster was also crucial. As the captain's second-in-command, they were responsible for maintaining daily discipline, managing plunder, and mediating disputes among the crew. However, penalties for breaches of discipline were extremely severe. Offenses like theft or mutiny could result in harsh sentences, including death or abandonment on a deserted island. This strictness was undoubtedly essential for maintaining order in the confined, communal living environment of a ship. Now, often confused with pirates are privateers. However, there was a clear distinction between the two. Privateers were granted a letter of marque by a government, authorizing them to attack enemy vessels. Essentially, they were state-sanctioned pirates. However, once a war ended, their commissions became invalid, and they lost their employment. Many of them, however, simply continued their piratical activities. It's believed that one of the most famous pirates, Edward Teach, better known as Blackbeard, was originally a privateer. He terrorized his enemies with his fearsome appearance and eccentric tactics. His goal wasn't just plunder, but to break his opponent's will to fight and seize treasure without resistance. Then there was Samuel Bellamy, known as the Prince of Pirates, a figure famous for being a Robin Hood who aided the poor and stole from the rich. His ship, the Witta, sank carrying what is believed to be the largest pirate treasure ever recorded, and its legend lives on today. And we mustn't forget the presence of the formidable female pirates, and Bonnie and Mary Red. They fought with a bravery that rivaled any man. Their lives may have served as a symbol of freedom and rebellion for the oppressed women of their era. Pirate raids were not solely for gold and silver. They also sought vital supplies like food, water, weapons, and materials for ship repairs. They were constantly pursued, and any treasures they acquired were often quickly consumed. The vast hidden hoards depicted on treasure maps were a rarity. After a successful raid, they would often rest on land, indulging in drink and gambling. Yet, even these moments were fleeting pleasures. The golden age of piracy, however, was not destined to last. Nations, particularly the mighty British Empire, began a relentless suppression. The British government dispatched its navy to eradicate piracy, offering amnesties and bounties to hunt down pirates. Many pirates were captured and publicly executed. Their bodies were often hung in prominent ports as a grim warning to others. Thus, many of the pirates who defined the Golden Age met their end, and by the mid-18th century, Caribbean piracy had largely disappeared. While the era of real pirates faded, their stories never truly vanished. Instead, they lived on, transforming into romantic legends. Works like Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island and countless other fictional tales shaped the enduring image of pirates as free-spirited adventurers. However, behind that glamorous image, we must not forget the desperate cry of people forced to live within a brutal social structure. They were not merely villains, but in a way, idealists who rebelled against an unfair world, striving to build a better society with their own hands. The history of pirates challenges us to consider what truly constitutes freedom, and what consequences arise from societal imbalance. Their story of suffering and hope, which resonates even in modern society, will undoubtedly continue to profoundly impact us. By understanding their true nature, we can grasp the profound human drama that lies beneath the surface of history. We hope this video has offered a new perspective on the image of pirates. Join us next time for more.